Hello everyone, watching today's video. It's JMA Friday, so as always on a Friday we're going to be having a look at the weather for the month ahead, and this is going to take us just about into August. I think we're around the 4th of August with this particular update. So into the final month of the summer. It's been a pretty decent summer so far if you like warm, dry weather. Hasn't been a huge amount of rain, and temperatures are running above average as well. Not as good for Scotland, but down across southern parts of England particularly, it is turning into quite a reasonable summer. We'll see what the Japanese and CFS V2 models have got to say in terms of the month ahead look ahead right now. So we're going to start off with the JMA. This is the 500 millibar height anomaly flow chart. They're broken down to a weekly period, so the first week period will take us from today, the 7th, through to the 14th of July. Blue is extrapolating to low pressure, and yellow and orange, are brighter colours, are extrapolating to high pressure. So for the coming week, we've got low pressure, below average heights up to the north and the northwest of the country. We've got the ridge through the central Atlantic around the Azores, and we're bringing the jet stream through rather like that. So it does imply that northern parts of the country getting the most unsettled conditions here, with southern parts getting the driest weather, but there will be some showery rain coming through at times, but always more unsettled close to that area of below average heights in the north. Week 2 takes us from the 14th through to the 21st of July, and this one is looking unsettled as well, but below average heights are still in there to the north and the northwest of the country. The ridge is down to the south and to the southwest, but jet stream is through the country rather like that. So weeks 1 and 2 both looking very similar. The most unsettled weather is in the north and west. The driest but not completely dry weather would be in the south and southeast. And in terms of temperatures, I suppose in the north it could be fairly cool, in the south probably near normal. And then finally we go through to weeks 3 and 4, and we see quite a big change then. This is taking us from the 21st of July through to the 4th of August, so just into the start of the new month. And we find that we have above average heights building over the UK and extending to our east as well. That's pushing the jet stream north. The jet stream's going up there somewhere. And what this would do is bring a lot of very warm and dry weather back for the closing stages of July, possibly into the start of August. You could well be drawing in a easterly, southeasterly flow with that. So I think that is proper summer weather there at the end of July into the start of August. That could get really quite hot indeed, and it will be pretty dry as well. So the idea is still there, but the second half of July has been playing out for some time now. Second half of July, that's when we might lock into a more extended spell of hot and dry weather. Let's have a look at the temperature precipitation anomalies, sorry about that, and in terms of the first weekly period. So the first weekly period, again, it's taking us from the 7th through to the 14th of July, and we find that we've got these below average heights up to the north, we've got the above average heights down to the south, and we're bringing the jet stream through like that. So it looks a more unsettled week in the week ahead. Rainfall is looking like this. Actually a fair amount of dry weather, and perhaps a little bit surprisingly, the wettest places maybe to the southern part of the country, with most areas actually coming out pretty dry in the week ahead. For temperatures, so a bit of a north-south split. Northern western parts of the country close to the jet stream, that's where you're a bit cooler than average. Southern parts of the country coming out a little bit warmer than average. Week 2, which is the 14th to the 21st of July, is looking like this. Again, it looks unsettled up to the north. We've got above average heights to our south, and we're bringing the jet stream through a bit like that. Precipitation in the 2-week period, week 2 period, comes out wetter than average in the north and west, but it's closer to average for England and Wales. For temperature, that is looking a bit cooler than average in the north and west again, and nearer normal further to the south. And then we go through to weeks 3 and 4, which is the 21st of July through to the 4th of August. That's the change. That's when we build that big area of above average heights in over the country and extending it to our east as well, which has the effect of drawing in the wind from a southerly southeasterly direction. You expect this to be turning drier than average for this 2-week period. That's what the model is showing. Drier than average precipitation anomalies, and temperatures are lifting up as well. Not going especially warmer than average, but for week 3 and 4 temperature anomaly, that is definitely indicating hotter conditions coming up there later in July and through to the start of August. You see it over here across much of the continent as well. It could be a real heat wave, I think, at the end of July into the start of August. CFS V2 is looking like this. So again, 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period takes us from the 7th today of July through to the 13th of July. We've got above average heights to our south and also to the southwest. Below average heights up to the north, quite unsettled up there. And the jet stream, it's coming through the country like that. It's most unsettled again in the northwest. You will think the driest weather is likely to be in the southeast. The week 2 500 millibar high dome looks like this, taking us from the 14th to the 20th of July. Above average heights out to the west-southwest, below average heights up to the northeast, and probably bringing down quite a cool northwesterly flow there through that middle part of July. Again, quite a bit of settled weather in the south and west, but most of the settled weather in the north and the east. And then big changes again go through to week 3, which is the 21st through to the 27th of July. All of a sudden we've got this big ridge of above average heights building over the UK, and it's extending up to the northeast as well. That will be sending the jet stream northwards up there. We'll probably be drawing in an easterly flow, which of course in the last stages of July, that's likely to be very warm, if not hot. And we go through to week 4, which is the 28th of July through to the 3rd of August. And again, big area of above average height sitting almost over the top of the UK, a little bit to our north and west. Again, this is probably drawing in the air from an east, maybe northeasterly direction, but I think there's enough ridge in there to suggest that for the very end of July and the start of August, it is likely to be quite hot. So we have agreement here between the two models in terms of the way that things are going to develop through the rest of July and heading into the start of August. Temperature anomalies with CFS V2 look like this. So warmer than average for England and Wales, a little bit cooler than average for Scotland. Week 2 temperature anomalies from the 14th to the 20th of July. Pretty much all areas coming out cooler than average. So you have got quite a long run of coolish weather, if this is right, coming up, especially so for the north. But then week 3, as that big area of high pressure takes over from the 21st to the 27th of July, temperatures really starting to pick up then, going significantly warmer than average for the final week of July. And then into the very end of July and the start of August, 28th of July to the 3rd of August, again, it's coming out significantly warmer than average. That could be a heat wave that's showing up there for the latter stages of July. And then finally, the precipitation anomalies. So for week 1 with CFS V2, this takes us from the 7th to the 13th of July, close to average precipitation anomalies. So there will be some rain in the coming week, albeit doesn't look all that excessive, just close to average precipitation. Week 2, which is the coolest week from the CFS V2, this is taking us from the 14th to the 20th of July. Most places are coming out drier than average, so cool and dry there through that middle phase of July. And then we go through to week 3. That's when the heat is building, of course, as high pressure builds in. This takes us from the 21st to 27th of July. The signal is weakening, but overall it still looks on the drier than average side through most parts of the country. And that drier than average signal then continues to week 4 as well, albeit it's a weakening signal, but 28th of July to the 3rd of August, overall coming out drier than average. So we've seemingly got pretty good agreement here between the JMA and the CFS V2 as to how things are going to develop. The first couple of weeks up to the middle part of July looking overall close to average, really. Maybe a little bit cooler than average for the north, close to average elsewhere. And a bit unsettled as well. So a bit of a cooler, more unsettled phase into the second half of July. But the signals between both the JMA and the CFS are there. For the final week or 10 days of July perhaps, we are likely to see high pressure developing, and it's going to stick around for quite a while if these two models are right. So if they're right, we could well be looking at a heat wave for the latter stages of July and into the start of August. This might be the hottest phase of what has already been a very warm summer. The only caveats I'd apply is that, as ever with long-range forecasting, it's all highly experimental. These models are prone to chopping and changing. So just because we're in agreement about what's going to happen over the next month, and particularly in terms of that heat wave signal for the latter stages of July, just because they're agreeing on it doesn't mean they're right. It could be that they're agreeing on the wrong signal. So as ever, we're going to have to wait and see how it pans out. But possibly a heat wave in the last stages of the month, may be lasting into the start of August. Right, weekend forecast tomorrow, so come back for that. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.